Hello, and welcome to the Art of Living Well podcast. I'm Stephanie Mae Potter, and I'm here with my co-host, Marnie Dotches-Marmette.
We created the Art of Living Well podcast to empower you to live your happiest, healthiest, and most authentic life. Each week, we will bring you inspiring and motivating conversations covering health and wellness topics, including fitness, mindset, food, travel, product reviews, and strategies from a variety of experts, including our own bank of knowledge.
We are excited to educate, motivate, and inspire you to change the way you perceive health and discover your art of living well. Get ready to feel inspired.
Just a reminder to order your clean crafted wine for the holidays.
And in case you're wondering what clean crafted wine is, it's wine made without any added chemicals, pesticides. There's no added sugar. It's made with organic grapes. There's low sulfites. And we did a whole episode on clean crafted wine to learn more, which is episode 28.
And if you want to make sure to get your wine in time for the holidays, the cutoff for Hanukkah is November 25th. The shipping cutoff for Christmas is December 8th, and the shipping cutoff for New Year's is December 15th.
And there's some great holiday gift sets. There's 1 bottle, 2 bottle, and 4 bottle gift sets, and you can order them as gifts for family members. Marnie and I were even talking about how fun it would be to schedule a Zoom, happy hour or a Zoom toast for the holidays, and you can have your wine and your family members that live in other cities and states can have the same wine. So kind of recreating the feel of being in person, because I know so many of us, unfortunately, are not going to be able to be with loved ones over the upcoming holiday season. We're already having so many people ask when our next upcoming 7-day functional medicine liver detox is. So
we want you to save the date and plan ahead. It's going to start on Sunday, January 10th and run through January 16th. So right in the new year, we can get started on our quarterly liver detox.
And we'll have more information to come, but right now you can head on over to our website, www.theartoflivingwell.us/programs for more information. You can sign up and get your kit today. You could gift it to someone for the holidays.
And we look forward to having you join us. Hello, and welcome to episode 55 of the Art of Living Well podcast. Before we get started today, I just wanted to ask that you don't forget to rate and review the Art of Living Well podcast on Apple Podcasts. And if you enjoy an episode, please share it with a friend. And you can also find us on Instagram at theartofliving_well and Facebook at the Art of Living Well podcast. We are honored and so excited to bring you today's guest, Nate Wilkins, a lifestyle change coach, body worker, author, and motivational speaker. Nate is a master strategist when it comes to out-of-the-box thinking and habit change, fitness, healing, wellness, youth development. Nate is also the author of a series of books on success, the Now Factors for Success. And he draws upon his broad spectrum of knowledge and life experiences. He is the creator and producer of such programs as the nationally recognized award-winning youth programs. Nate has presented his innovative ideas and concepts to a number of different organizations. Nate has also hosted a weekly talk show as well as authored numerous magazine and newspaper articles. He has served on national and local boards of nonprofit organizations, foundations, and museum associations. Nate has received numerous awards and recognitions. Today's conversation was so inspiring with Nate, and you can totally feel his energy as you listen. We both so enjoyed this conversation as we dove into habit change, fitness, motivation, and a myriad of other topics. Nate, thank you so much for being a guest on the Art of Living Well podcast today. We so appreciate you carving out the time to share your story with our audience. You have so much energy and inspiration, and we cannot wait to have this conversation with you today. So to get started, I wanted to know a little bit about your background and your journey that brought you to where you are today, and maybe if you can share your story with our audience.
Hey, I would be glad to, but first of all, let me thank you for the opportunity to share a little bit about my life with the audience and with yourself. Hey, listen, it is interesting at best. Parks recreation was one of the things that early on I saw a man working with young people when I lived in Europe. My parents were military. So I lived in Germany and we went to this place called the AYA. And this man was working with young people and we traveled all over. He just was giving so much to people. And I saw that as an opportunity for me to learn and grow. So all throughout, my time, the rest of the time, high school and into college, I thought about how do I do the same thing? So I went to school at Kansas State University, got a degree in recreation administration, went to work in Topeka, Kansas, doing these kinds of things. And later on, got what I call a quantum leap into Kansas City, Missouri as a superintendent of recreation, later on Cincinnati Recreation Commission, National Recreation Association as a chief operating officer, association management, and bam, all of a sudden, the bottom falls out, right? They eliminate the job. I go back into Cincinnati, work as sort of a community organizer for a while, get another call from somebody here in Miami. They say, do you want a job, a position, a director of a department? I run to Miami, I get the job, and I'm working for 3 years with a smaller department, but manageable. And then a city manager comes in and he has a hit list and I'm on that list. And he says to me one day, he says, hey, you come to my office. I got an offer for you. Guess what the offer was? You can resign or be terminated.
Oh boy.
Nice offer.
How you like that? And so that's how I get to be a health and fitness person. There were some health issues and I started exercising because I wanted to change that. I was overweight. I started to blame the clothes, right? I started to say, well, they're making the clothes too small. And it was really me, right? I was just eating too much, drinking too much, too many meetings and hanging out and that type of thing. And I had an incident where I had sense enough to know that if I had some pain in my chest, I needed to go to the doctor. I went to the doctor. They actually kept me. They said I was having many heart attacks. And then sort of people got notice of that. They came to visit me. I was in ICU. And the message was that I might not make it. And they were looking so sad. And so I finally got a chance to figure out that maybe there was some serious stuff going on. But during that time, and as you know, you go deeper into yourself. I said to myself at that time, if I ever get out of here, I won't have to worry about this again. So that's how I started my journey on being a health, wellness, and healing professional. How about that? What do you think about that?
Wow.
That's very powerful.
Very powerful. And, you think, well, maybe there's a silver lining in that offer that you received to resign or be terminated.
Everything works for the good. You know that.
Mm-hmm.
At the time, I didn't think it was that, right? Because we always wonder, why me?
Right.
Why do I have to go through this? And the question is, why not you? Who else do you want it to be?
But you have to do the hard work, right? I mean, that's the bottom line. Everybody does.
Yeah. So I like what you just said, because here's what I learned as I was going through my life and through mentors and what have you. They used to say, no cross, no crown. If you don't have a struggle, you don't have a victory.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm all the better for it. I'm glad to talk about that even more. Got some other stuff I want to share with you that I think, that there's some people out there that are where I was or where I am, and perhaps just maybe some of the stuff that I have to say today may help them move along their way.
Well, I hope so. And I'm sure that there are people out there. And what do you think was going through your mind at that time? There's, so much of this is really a mental game and being in the right mindset to see the silver lining and to make some positive change in your life so that you don't end up back in the ICU again. What was it for you what triggered you to make those changes and on your own, and what, I don't know if it was your background or an influence in your life.
Like, how'd you do it?
Yeah,
Right? Is that what
exactly.
you're trying to say?
Yes. How'd you do it? Bottom line.
How'd you do it?
Here you go. Here you go. That there's this as I was growing up, and some people don't know this, but I lived in Atlanta, Georgia, and had a chance meeting with King as a young boy, and so this whole notion of hope and faith, and believing that there was something bigger and greater, that during those dark hours you got to go deep. And I'm not trying to make people religious or anything like that. I'm talking about me. I'm saying to you that there was some time in there that actually took me to my knees and made me say that, there's some stuff you need to do to change. And here's what I would share with you, that most people will change for these kinds of reasons. They get a message from somewhere that says you may not be here, and if you don't make some changes, then you don't have to worry about it. And some listen and some don't. I was one who was lucky enough to listen, and here I am today talking to you about health, wellness, and healing. I eat it, I sleep it, I talk it, I walk it, man. I don't know if you ever had a chance to look at me, but I look good, I smell good, I talk good. I got everything going on. You just don't know. You just don't know. I'm 66 years young. I'm on the race to 100.
You don't look 66.
Oh, please give me a break. I look all of 26, right?
Exactly.
So speaking of the race to 100, tell us a little bit more about that.
Yeah, the race to 100. So what I'm doing is setting some goals, right? I know that through the Blue Zone, all the information that we learn about Blue Zones, that if we biohack, if we do the things that's necessary, take good care, live life, don't just go through and exist, that if you do these things and learn as much and take care of your body, that you can make it to, or I can make it to 100. So that's at 66 from there. I think it's a breeze. And so I'm doing that every day. Let me tell you what, I'm up in the mornings at 4 a.m., wow, getting my mind wrapped around what I'm going to do, what the day is going to do, because I'm looking for my unfolding future. I walk my dogs, and outside in the dark, man, in the fresh air, I get these messages from on high. And when I come back, I can get my workout in. So by 6 o'clock on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, I'm off somewhere doing a boxing class, and I run back and I teach some other classes. And then later on in the day, I'm teaching, and then I'm training. And then later on in the day, on Tuesdays and Thursdays, I go to a boxing class, or I go to a water class, and then I'm also doing some heart rate training. So man, when you talk about the race to 100, and what does that look like? And I'm not trying to encourage people to do all this stuff, right? Because here's what I'm saying to you. There's a certain amount of mental toughness. There's a certain amount of preparation and really challenging yourself during these times like we're in with COVID, challenging your body, challenging your mind, and building up your immunity to all of the negatives that are going around you. That's why I think I'm going to make it to 100. I'm looking for people. I'm looking for that 3 and 10, those people who want to do the same thing. That, this tribe that we talk about, this Agelessworkout tribe, these people who want to live life at the highest level, and they want to take back their lives, and they just want to say, hallelujah, I feel good about myself. Look at me, taking away those things that they don't like about themselves, whether it's inside, the attitudes, or whether it's the outside. I don't know what it is for people, but I can tell you that I'm working on everything that I have about me, that there's a new me. I got a poster up in my room with pictures of me saying it's the new Nate Wilkins. And I told you earlier, I used to be Nathaniel Wilkins when I worked for Parks Recreation Department as an executive, as an administrator, but I don't need that. I need to be a new person, and I don't have nothing to hide and nothing to protect. I'm just who I am, living my life every day.
And I bet you're so much happier.
And you have so much energy. I mean, we can just, it's coming across in the Zoom interview that we're doing.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And so, in talking about the race to 100, and we love the Blue Zones, Marnie and I are very into that whole philosophy. And I know you've talked a lot before about you can't train your way out of a bad diet, which again, we couldn't agree more with. So thinking about the race to 100 and, coupling just with this concept and explaining it more to our listeners and how you fuel your body. So what else, you talk about waking up early and you're moving all day and you're outside in the fresh air. But really thinking about that concept of that you can't train your way out of a bad diet, which I know some people, still kind of believe that you can, right?
Yeah. So let me just be clear that I'm not a fanatic about diet. What I really mean is that you need to put the good stuff in first, right? You need to make sure you get the rest, you need to get the nutrition. And particularly at this age, like 66, there are certain things that we need, right? I'm into building muscle, right? I do cardio, but I want to maintain muscle because I want my bones to be strong. I want to be able to do what I want to do, go where I want to go with the people I want to go with. So I make sure that I get the proper amount of rest, but also I get hydrated and I get the foods that I need at this point in my life. So everybody's body is different. I'm not a proponent of this diet or that diet. I'm a proponent of eating the eating that would actually allow you to do what you need to do to get the energy that you need to get. So if I'm active early in the day, I need a lot of energy. And sometimes I even use intermittent fasting because I'm trying to stay lean and mean like a sex machine. So it's all of these things that you take into consideration, not just one size fits all, but what you do is you find out what works for you. So some stuff that works for Nate Wilkins may not work for other people, and we try to design our programs along that way, that even with the workouts that we do, we try to design them based on who we're working with. But let me get back to answering your question. I'm somewhere some days at about 2,500. I don't go over to 3,000. We know that less than 1,000 calories a day, you go backwards, right? So I'm playing somewhere in that 2,500 range, especially when I'm doing all of these different activities. So I make sure I get my proteins in, right? You got to get proteins. And then, so for me, I like all this green stuff. So, I'm even moving myself toward more of a plant-based diet. And so let me just be clear that I still do eat some animal protein, but I'm trying to move away from animal protein. So I'm actually moving into plant-based.
I call that mostly plant-based. That's how I eat.
Right, mostly plant-based. So I can eat a salad and throw some animal protein on top of that because I'm still, a country boy at heart. And so, I'm moving. I guess what I'm trying to say to you is that I'm a work in progress, that I'm unfinished. And so I'm trying to do all of the things that I can do to get this body where I want it to be in this race. And so you have to understand and know yourself. You got to take some time out, quiet down some and listen to what your body is saying to you. It'll tell you all kinds of things. If you get some rash on your skin, that might be related to diet. If you're stressed out, that might be something related to diet. So there's all of these things, these cues that we get around our lives. And if we stop and listen sometimes, then we can pay attention. And the other thing that I want to share with you today, and this month, this month is prostate cancer awareness or health month. So men need to take care of themselves and get their prostate checked out, right? So I'm one of those people who supports that kind of thing too, is health being the first thing, and then all the other stuff falls in after that. I know you didn't ask me about all of that, but I got so much I want to share with you. I want to get it in. How about that?
And your philosophies are very much in alignment with what we believe in terms of, there is no one size fits all diet. Like, you have to do what works for you and, based on your size and your preferences and, maybe gluten doesn't agree with me, but it agrees with Stephanie or whatever it is. Like, there is no one size fits all way to eat or be or work out even. Sorry, Stephanie.
No, I'm just going to say the other thing you said was listening to your body is what you were getting at, So if you do have a rash or your digestion's off or stress, like, tune in and let's get to the root of what's causing that. because it may be diet, or it may be stress, or lack of movement, or a number of other things.
Absolutely. I think that fits with your theme. It's called the art.
Mm-hmm.
The art of living, right? You got when you talk about art, you're talking about being professional and meticulous and doing something that looks beautiful and positioning it in the right way. I think that's what you mean by the art, right? That it's not just something that willy-nilly that you just throw out there, right? That you really care about what you're doing, that you're intentional about what you're doing, that when you see it, you can sit back and look at it and people can marvel at the work that you've done because it's so well done.
I love how you just articulated that.
So do I.
I'm like trying to write it down.
Well, it's a good thing we can have this recording, Marnie, because I don't think we said it with such finesse.
Yeah. I like it. Maybe I should borrow that and use it in some of my other conversations that I have with people. And then I can say, well, I got this from a podcast that I did. These ladies, and they didn't mind if I borrowed the art.
Yeah.
So as people are working with you, I like how you, first of all, I like how you say strong is the new skinny. Mm-hmm. I think that being strong is so important. And especially as you are racing to 100, the older you get, your bones can become more frail and brittle. And you hear about how strength training is so incredibly important. I'm a firm believer in strength training. Right. Can you tell us about how you help people to change their thought process as they kind of dive into working with you?
Mm-hmm. So people come to us with various thoughts about, there's so much noise out here. So we always start with people where they are, so maybe it is that they want to change their body part, right? And for a fact that you cannot spot train anything.
I wish you could. I know. I really wish you could, but you can't.
Yeah, our bodies do what they want to do. Yep. And they always ask me, well, when am I going to see the results? And the results start in the inside. They don't start on the outside, right? So the body starts to clean up on the inside. You start to see it. Other people see it first before you do, right? You see it sometimes in your face, or maybe you see it in other parts in your stomach or hips or what have you. So really what we try to get people to do is to buy into where they are. I'm working with a client right now, a female who's been involved with being at home, working at home and getting access to food, weighing too much, lack of activity, put on a whole lot of weight. So the person is inflamed and they want to get out and start working out really fast. And I suggest that that's not it. That I think they maybe need to get some things checked out with their doctor first to make sure that everything is okay. So, and the other thing is perhaps it's stretching that you may want to do, and not so much taking on the resistance training. We're going to get to that eventually. So if you think that you're going to get there overnight with resistance and what have you, then I'm really not the person. I shouldn't be working with you, because I'm not going to put that pressure. I'm not going to hurt somebody through exercise that I know is wrong, right? So I'm going to take you along a continuum that I think would, based on a lot of information that you've given me, that I know, my experience, and then we'll move slowly into these kinds of things. You could do anything if you prepare your body for it. So that is sort of the idea that I would use, so sort of hypothetically with people. But let me back up and share with you that we're more than just personal training, right? We have a health and wellness and healing company. So what we do is the Ageless, our brand is the Ageless Workout, and we have a tribe of people that we work with. And these people are people from all over the world. And sometimes it's virtual, and sometimes it's face-to-face, and sometimes I'm speaking, and sometimes we're selling equipment. So I want to make sure that people understand that we're more than just personal training. And we understand people from a number of different perspectives, the whole spectrum, right? The other thing that I would really quickly say to you is that I think this is probably the highest calling that I've had so far, the ability to help people where they are to reach new goals and to think and believe better about themselves. So that's a piece that I want to make sure that I leave with you, that I'm fortunate to be able to work with and help people, that I'm really getting more than actually I'm giving in some instances, because I learned so much. And I could talk to you about that on and on. So I hope I answered your question.
Yeah, no, that's amazing. And I think both Stephanie and I can relate to feeling like we have both found our professions where we feel the same way. And it just feels amazing to be able to be working and doing what you love at the same time.
Yeah, I call my work my play.
Yeah.
It is. We could play all day, right?
Absolutely. Especially if it's what you love.
Exactly.
Yes, totally.
And so kind of piggybacking off of the strong is the new skinny, I know you also like to talk about, sharing the difference between weight loss and fat loss and how you burn fat. And I think our audience may be interested in hearing a little bit more about that.
So one of the good examples that we always use with people is you take a look at what is maybe 5 pounds of fat. 5 pounds of fat can be humongous. And then you look at 5 pounds of muscle and it's compact, right? So while some people, look at it and say they want to lose weight, what we try to say is, why don't you turn fat into muscle? Why don't we build muscle and burn the fat off of the body? Because under there is muscle, right? And if we build the muscle, you get stronger. You look different, right? Your body's tighter. You feel better, right? So if people want to lose weight, then you can go to Weight Watchers and do that. I mean, you could actually stop eating and lose weight. Stop eating so much. Back away from the table. Zip your lip.
Easier said than done, though.
I was just thinking, yeah. If I told my clients, well, just stop eating.
I know.
Well,
they'll lose weight.
Hey, listen, they need to be honest with themselves. They need to get in the mirror and look at yourself and start talking to yourself like, you eat too much. You drink too much alcohol. You shouldn't drink all those Cokes. So here's what I can tell you is that for me, when I go to the grocery store, if I go down the aisle where there's some potato chips and some Oreos, it's over. I'm going to buy some potato chips and Oreos. So I have to avoid potato chips and Oreos. I know that I'm setting myself up if I do that. But at the same time, I would share with you that every now and then I find a way to get me some potato chips and some Oreos, because what's life without potato chips and Oreos?
Well, it's all about moderation,
Right.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So can you tell us about your book series? I know you have a book series on Amazon now, the Now Factors for Success. Mm-hmm. And you mentioned you also have some books coming out.
Yeah. So I wrote the Now Factors for Success. At first it was one book, then I decided that, that I divide them up into 3. And, and I was so vain at the time, I actually put my pictures on pictures of me on the book. One is me smiling in a suit, another one is me working out, showing muscles, and then another one is a businessman. So they're all out there on Amazon, Nathaniel Wilkins, and they're Kindle, right? And so I think you could actually go and read them for free but if you want to purchase them, that's beautiful. Hey, listen, what I want to do is get the information out to people. If I can help somebody get to where they need to be in terms of success, these are success books, and based on what I've accumulated through the struggles that I've gone through, the ups and the downs, because, there is success is not just straight up. Sometimes you got to go out of your way. So it talks about all those things. So it applies. So those books are out there, but I'm actually working on a number of other books that I want to put out on the market that I think will be useful as well. So it's the Agelessworkout book that we're going to put out. Stepping out of the matrix, and unfinished, and and busted. And then there's this one that we're talking about what people do when they claim they're going to work out and they go to an all-you-can-eat restaurant. So it's called "Did You See That?" Right? And you see these people with workout clothes on, right, and their stomach is hanging over the spandex. Let me stop. I don't want to give too much away, but those things are going to come out eventually. So these are some of the things that I've been working on while I've had my time, with COVID or social distancing or whatever you want to call it.
So it sounds like you've really capitalized on some of this time over the last few months.
You don't have, how much time do we have left? We don't know.
Right.
So if I were going to prioritize things, I would prioritize time over money. I want to use my time. I want to use my time to get out and to leave sort of a legacy. That's what all this work is all about. That it's not what I'm getting. It's what am I becoming, and whose life can I touch in a special way, right? So the deal is, in the book, it talks about taking the eye off yourself and putting it on somebody else.
I love that.
Yeah, so that's sort of the thing that I'm working on. Don't watch too closely, right? Because I'm still human. And so it is my hope and my wish and my dream that I'm able to touch lives. And so while I still have time, I want to make sure that people understand that this thing about ageless is not an age, right? It is a mindset, is a way of looking at things. It could be the 35-year-old, it could be the 19-year-old, it could be the 70 or the 80-year-old. It's these people who have decided that they're going to live life on their terms, that they're going to live life on their terms. Can I make sure you understand? Live, not exist. That if you want to travel, you travel. If you want to do some stuff to take care of yourself, you want to work out, if you want to spend time with your kids, that you make sure that you put that in your life. And if you have some issues like prostate, if you get cancer, if you got, I work with people who have Parkinson's and who may have special needs. So it's this spectrum of people. There's this tribe of people that we're trying to help that really want to live and transform. And when they get to the end of life, they want to say, man, that was a fun ride.
Oh, that is beautiful. And honestly, I know we've said this before, but it's so in line with this podcast, what we're trying to help people with too, our mission, the art of living well. And what you're saying is find your art of living well, live life on your terms, right?
God, I thought you were going to say that and let me, pontificate and expand on that idea, and that people would say, oh my God, did you hear what he said about that? That's just a wonderful thing, but I'll wait to talk about you all whenever you give me an opportunity. I'm excited about the chance to speak to you, and thank you so much for just this time that we've shared together.
Absolutely. And I'm actually curious, how do you motivate people to motivate themselves and keep it fun?
Oh my God, I can't do that. I can blow somebody up, and by the time they leave out of the room, then that's like a balloon, right? So what I try to do is help people see themselves where they want to be. So, we take images of people, photo images. We talk about dreams, hopes, and aspirations and what they're willing to do, and not what Nate Wilkins wants them to do, because if they don't want it themselves, by God, I can't do it for them. This thing, you can't even pay for me to do it for you, because if you don't do something, you don't get anything. And the problem with exercise and working out, you got to put a massive amount of exercise in and get a small amount out, right? But it's just like pumping. If you've ever, it's like I told you, I'm a country boy. So if you ever went to a well and if you had a pump, you got to keep pumping on the handle. You got to keep pumping. And then eventually you get something out of there. So motivation is a daily thing. Motivation is a personal thing. But I think that what I would say is that I'm going to help people have a sense of confidence. That I want to help people believe in themselves. I want to help people say that, I don't like where I am and I'm going to do something about it today. I'm taking back my life. That's really what I think I can do. That I want to help people get real with themselves, take a close look and say, this is not who I am and who I want to be. And I'm going to do something to change it. That's what I think I can help people do. I'm so sorry I can't. People get motivated by what they see me doing because I can do some things at this age. But that's me and not them. So they got to get it for themselves. I hope so.
Yes. No, I think that's great. And we always love to leave our listeners with just some practical tips and advice. And I know you've kind of peppered in a few things, but if there were couple things that people could walk away from this conversation when they listen to it and implement today or this week, what advice would you like to share?
Here's what I'd say. When you get and look at yourself and you have done everything you could, then dig a little bit deeper, because what I'm understanding is that at 40%, you've given 40%, but you still have some more. So you have to take a closer look at yourself. You have to surround yourself with people who are going in the direction that you're going. You may have to lose some people along the way because maybe they don't believe in you, or they think that you're not going to do what you say you're going to do. And sometimes you might not be able to do that, but every day you got to wake up and believe in yourself. I think that you got to take a look at your environment. And if you have stuff in your environment that is causing you to fall off of your goals, like food, like sugar, like Coca-Cola or what have you, or Pepsi or potato chips or whatever, like we talked about, maybe you want to get rid of that stuff or start slowly getting rid of it. And sort of change your life. That's if you really want to change. The last thing I would say to you is that at some point you got to look at yourself and decide that you want to change. If you don't want to change, that's okay too. But at least be honest with yourself at this point. I hope that makes sense.
Absolutely. Those are fantastic tips. And I think the last one is by far the hardest one to do, and the one that people struggle with the most, because, many people just want to pinpoint some other reason about why they can't do whatever they can't do, instead of really digging in deep and doing that hard work. So,
and it's not easy.
No. Or I think some people honestly just like to complain about it, always have a reason why they can't lose the weight or they can't give up the sugar or whatever it is. But I guess that when you dig down and do the hard work, maybe you aren't there yet and you just don't really want to change.
And I mean, I've been there. I've been there before at various times in my life, as I'm sure we all have. I mean, you have to be ready to make those changes in order to make the changes, right? Like you have to mentally be there.
Do you think it's easy for me to get out of the bed at 4 o'clock in the morning every morning? I have to make myself get out of the bed at 4 o'clock in the morning and put my shoes on and get up and walk. And some days I don't want to do it, but I know that I'm trying to get somewhere. And so I have to be honest with myself and say, you need to do this. And so you tell my mind to shut up and do what I need to do. That's what I think people have to come to grips with. And that's a hard thing to do.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So Tell us where people can find you on social media, or what is the best way for people to learn more about you?
Well, so on Instagram, I have two accounts. There is the Ageless Healing Official, because I told you, I like to heal people. And then there's Nate Miami 305. And then, of course, on Facebook, it's Nathaniel Oliver Wilkins. Right. And then, of course, those books are on Amazon.
And we'll put links, we'll link all of this up in our show notes so that the listeners can find you, especially those people that may be out walking, running, driving right now as they listen to this conversation.
Yeah. I hope I've shared some stuff that's good and useful for people.
You've been amazing. Honestly, there's so many quotes that you've said that I was like, wow, this is a very inspiring and powerful quote that we'll share with this episode. So the final question, Nate, that we love to ask all of our guests is, what does the art of living well mean to you?
Oh my God, I was waiting for that one. I was waiting for that one. The art of living well is to step outside of yourself, get you a mirror and look, because when you train, there's always mirrors around. Look at yourself and start to chip away at what that is that you don't like about yourself, especially on the inside. Take a deep dive on the inside. Live the person who you are, not what your mother or father, right, or sister or brother thinks that you are or should be. You should live and be who you are. So if you have a sense of joy and happiness, bring that out. If you like to do art, then do art, right? If you like to sing, then sing. So the art of living well is living the life that you want to live and finding out what that is, right? So you have to do some exploration. You have to, and then you start to shape and mold, right? And then you come up with this masterpiece that is you, because you are already an individual miracle from the Creator. The Creator shaped and formed you, and somewhere along the way, with all of the stuff that's come along, the growing up, the parents, the friends, and what have you, the bullying and what have you, has taken that away from you. So it's time, if you want to live well, to step out of the matrix, so to speak, and go and live that artwork that you are. And that's what I call the art of living well. I hope I've said that well enough for everybody and for you.
That was amazing.
Yeah. That was. We love asking this question. We love the responses. That was beautiful.
And I wish I could talk to you for another 4 or 5 hours. I mean, this has been fun.
Well, Marnie and I will just have to take a business trip to Miami in January.
Yes, absolutely.
We'll come work out with you. Maybe not at 4 a.m. Maybe we'll wait till 7.
That'd be very fun.
That would be very fun.
Thank you so much for coming on our show today.
Thank you.
Yeah, we love this.
Thank you so much. I appreciate the exchange.
Yes.
And have a great day. Thank you so much for listening to the Art of Living Well podcast. We are so grateful that you joined us today.
If you enjoyed this episode, please share it with a friend or anyone else you think may benefit from this information. We'd love for you to subscribe to our podcast, leave us a review, and tag the Art of Living Well podcast on social media.
If you want more inspiration in between episodes, you can find us on social media at theartofliving_well on Instagram and Facebook, where we will share snippets from our daily lives and our journey to living well.